Welcome to another podcast about podcasting. Now that we have some audio in Audacity, and if you're not sure how to do this, please see the previous screencast on recording in Audacity. Now that we do have some audio in Audacity, and here we have one long line, which is actually broken up into 3 segments, we may need to do a little bit of editing. Our editing tool is this tool here, the cursor. Editing in Audacity is almost like editing a Word document. We can literally cut and paste. For example, here I notice by the shape of the waveform that we have quite a bit of dead air time, and if we were to listen to this, we would notice that. I'd like to trim that down, so I'm literally going to highlight with my cursor, click and drag, and use my delete key on the keyboard to delete that. I'm going to do the same thing down here, highlight, click and drag, and hit the delete key. Now you'll notice that these two are no longer lined up. Quite simply, the arrow key will allow me to drag them and line them up. And I'll need to do the same with this one. Now we might imagine that in this case it's actually 3 different individuals combining to one podcast. And we notice that the first individual is a little bit quieter than the last 2. This can be corrected using the effects toolbar. In order to do so, I need to highlight this individual here. Under Effect, I'm going to choose the Amplify button. And the dragger will show me how much I can amplify. When I get to a certain point, it will often gray out. In this case, it looks like I have lots of room. And I will now click. Oh, it did gray out, in fact, because you'll notice the OK button disappeared. There, that is the point where I can no longer go any further. I'm going to go right there and click OK, and you'll notice it gets larger. We can repeat that amplification to get it to full volume if we like. Now we may also find that in this area this individual was screaming. By highlighting and under Effect, Negative Amplifying, I can quiet that down a little bit. There may be a point in your podcast where you actually need some dead silence. And in order to do that, all we would do is click somewhere and generate silence. When we do so, it asks us how much silence we want, how many seconds. I'm not actually going to do it in this case because I am going to show you in a later podcast how to use the Generate Silence tool to create a fade in and fade out for music if you are creating a background sound. There are other editing tools in Audacity. Most of them involve this cursor, the arrow tools, and the effect button. I would encourage you to play around with those and get things just right. As you are editing, you may find the mute and solo keys helpful. Solo means that only this line of audio will play. Mute means that this line of audio will not play, and the other 2 will. So you may find that those tools help you out. You may also find the X here, which is what allows you to delete, is very helpful. Whenever recording or editing, you can just delete your work, and it gets rid of an entire line of text of track. It's wonderful. Hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to our next podcast about podcasting.